That Don't Sound Right is a podcast about talking the way we did before the internet, when you could not prove anyone right or wrong.
All the expertise was contained in the people involved with the conversation. I'm Peter.
I'm Cecil, and I hope you enjoy our conversations. And as you listen, if you find yourself silently saying, that don't sound right, send us a comment. You're one of us.
I think you texted me or you told me that you bought a bag of dirt.
Yeah, from Georgia.
And it's not a big bag of dirt. You know, it's not like topsoil or playground sand.
Yeah.
It's a bag of dirt, maybe like a quart size. Welcome back to another episode of That Don't Sound Right, a podcast about talking. We're your co-hosts. I'm Peter Bielman.
I'm Cecil Davis.
And we're just trying to have a conversation. Glad that you're here listening in on it. When we talk, we try not to, actually we don't try, we just don't do it. We don't Google it. We don't fact check. We just go with what we know.
Right. All the knowledge is contained within the people in the conversation.
So this week, we're talking about buying dirt.
Yeah.
And this was an interesting thing that made me say, that don't sound right. When Cecil texted me, I think you texted me or you told me that you bought a bag of dirt.
Yeah, from Georgia.
And it's not a big bag of dirt. You know, it's not like topsoil or playground sand.
Yeah.
It's a bag of dirt, maybe like a quart size.
We'll put a picture of it up on the website. Definitely,
yeah. But it's not as big as you think. So if you're trying to envision a bag of dirt, don't envision a big bag that you get at one of the big box stores.
No.
Envision like a quart to gallon size Ziploc bag with this light brown dirt in it.
Oh, it's even smaller than that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. You're giving me more credit than I deserve.
So I heard this and I said, what are you doing buying dirt?
This is specific dirt. This is Georgia dirt.
Well, keep talking. Because you know what? I'm curious.
Yeah, and it doesn't sound right. I didn't think I would ever buy dirt. So you're right. I mean, people buy dirt all the time. They go to Ace Hardware or Home Depot or Lowe's and buy big bags of dirt, garden soil, topsoil, whatever. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this is a pound bag of dirt.
Pound?
1 pound.
1 pound, okay.
Yeah, very small bag from Georgia. So we'll do a little. I'll give you some background on what this is. So we vacation a lot in the mountains,
right?
And every time I'm up there and I see these streams, I'm always like, man, there's got to be some gold in those streams. Because you're looking down there, you're seeing all that mica,
Somebody's been watching too much
gold.
Discovery Channel, but go ahead.
Yeah, so you see all that fool's gold, glistening back at you.
What is fool's gold? What is the actual mineral?
Isn't it pyrite?
Pyrite, okay.
Yep. So we have our barista in here today, was the voice you heard off mic.
And our resident geologist, too.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm always thinking that. So the other day, I had to go down to Statesville. And I went down I-77 in North Carolina, which is big interstate, in the western part of the state. And there was a sign on 77 that said Carolina Prospecting. So I noted it, and on the way back, I stopped, as is my habit, to get a iced tea. And I pulled off the road.
And a can of Vienna sausages?
No, just iced tea.
By the way, it's only been a week, but I still have the aftertaste of those mustard sardines in my mouth.
Yeah, last week's lunch in the studio has carried me a long way.
It's the lunch. It's the care package that just kept on giving.
Yeah, well, it's low cost, high calorie.
Yeah,
it's what you need to keep going. So the place, and this was not planned, but the place where I pulled off to get my tea, I drove past this store.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I've got to stop.
Right.
So I stopped in this little store in a little strip mall in this town that I never even heard of.
And the store was called Carolina Prospecting?
I think it was called Carolina Prospecting.
Okay.
I go in there, and this store is packed front to back with prospecting equipment. And not like dust-covered prospecting equipment. This stuff is obviously moving.
So what is prospecting equipment?
So they've got everything from gold pans for panning, gold snuffers for snuffing the pan out, different size pans, Then they've got
what's snuffing mean?
it's a little bottle that sucks the gold out of the pan.
all right.
So when you just have little flakes, they have these specialized bottles for stuffing it out.
I got you.
And they have.
So I'm starting to hear that you actually know some of the terminology and lingo.
I do now.
All right, keep coming. Keep coming.
So this place is packed. And it's also, they do other things here. They had a gun shop, and I think they did some pawn shop. But mainly this store is packed with prospecting.
And this is south of Statesville on Interstate 77.
That is north.
Okay.
North on 77.
So there is a gold belt in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And there's a gold rush around the Charlotte area.
Yes.
Okay.
Charlotte 49ers.
So it's still going.
Which are the Charlotte 49ers, the UNCC. Yep. That's their mascot.
All right.
So I'm in the store. They have sluices, which I'm not very familiar with, but it's a piece of mining equipment. These sluice boxes, but they also have like big hydraulic equipment, like big brass fittings.
Yeah.
For high pressure hoses.
Okay.
So you can really pump a lot of gravel out of the bottom of these streams.
All right.
So I mean, this is serious stuff.
All right.
So just a wall full of brass pressure fittings for hoses. So I talked to the guy, and he's like, I said, do y'all do a big business in this? He's like, oh yeah. He said, we do a big business. So he showed me some of the gold that people had found in local creeks. He actually showed me a big nugget that was found south of Winston-Salem, between Winston-Salem and Lexington.
Clearly, he will not tell you where it was.
Clearly, to avoid any claim jumpers, yeah.
What is he doing with a nugget? Why?
Because they will buy it. They will buy and sell your gold that you find at this store.
Why isn't he cashing it in?
Well, somebody had cashed it in.
Oh.
And he had bought it. So I guess they melt this stuff down. And
he's holding on to it to show off for a little while?
Yeah.
Okay. I would have thought he would have melted it by now and got his money out of it.
That's true. I wonder. So anyways, it's a good point. So we were talking, and so I was like, well, how much is a gold pan?
Right.
Very affordable.
Very affordable.
$8.
Yeah.
For a top of the line.
That was top of the line?
Top of the line. This is the pan that he uses.
Cecil spared no expense.
So I got a gold grabber, I think is what it's called.
That's
gold,
the name of the pan?
I think so.
Okay.
Gold guzzler. And so I got me a pan and a little snuffer bottle.
All right.
And left the store happy as a lark.
All right.
So I went and I dug me up some dirt over the creek here in the back behind
of
the
your house.
Yeah.
In Winston.
In Winston.
All right.
Because Winston is in the gold belt. Turns out anywhere west of Raleigh has potential for gold.
All right.
And I read somewhere that someone said that a very low percentage of gold in North Carolina has been found. Like, of the total amount of gold that's in North Carolina, like 7% has been found.
Okay.
Which I have no idea how they calculate that.
Yeah, it's really...
That seems like some dubious math there.
Yeah.
So I called you and said I got a pan.
Right.
To which you responded that you also had a gold pan.
Actually, yes, we got my son a gold pan for Christmas or birthday because he was interested in having one handy when he's backpacking to go out and just try it.
And he's got a fancier pan than I do because I got the big set of riffles.
Right.
And a riffle is just a little ledge in the pan that helps trap the gold.
Right.
You've got the large set and the smaller set.
Yeah, well, I had no idea what we were getting into.
Yeah, you got it.
Sometimes a blind squirrel will find a nut.
Yep. So I got a pan, got the little snuffer bottle, tried the stuff in the back of my house, found a lot of nothing.
Okay.
A lot of mica. But also, I don't know what gold looks like yet, right?
Right, right.
So this is where we come into the bag of dirt.
Yeah.
So.
Bag of dirt.
Yep.
Now, have you watched any of the TV shows on the Discovery Channel about people finding gold in Alaska?
Yes.
And professional miners, amateur miners. So you've watched this. So
and that's where they're using those big sluice boxes where they're pumping out a lot of material.
Huge. But they make small ones too, like the size of this dining room table or even
smaller.
A fourth of the size of this dining room table.
Yeah. Ones that you can carry to a creek with you.
Right.
Yeah, I've watched those where they're pumping out a lot of material.
Yeah.
But I also watched a guy on YouTube that took a bag of play sand from Home Depot and found gold in it.
What?
Yeah.
No. Come on, man.
You doubt YouTube?
I do doubt YouTube.
So, I don't know what made me think of this.
All right.
I don't know how I came up with it. I don't know if something triggered me, like reading. But Amazon will sell you a bag of dirt.
They'll sell you anything.
And there's bags of dirt from all across the world. And they contain gold. Like they'll contain a guaranteed amount of gold.
Like when we say amount, how much?
Like 0.2 of a gram.
0.2 of a gram.
Yeah, will be guaranteed. Which is not, just in case you're curious, if you pay $30 for a bag of dirt, 0.2 of a gram is not going to pay for your bag of dirt.
No, I wouldn't think so.
It won't even come close. So it's not like a one-for-one deal here.
But isn't there a chance for finding bigger stuff in there?
There is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a gambling type of adventure. It's
absolutely.
like, maybe I'll find a nugget in this one. Maybe I'll win the lottery. Maybe I'll strike it big. And
lightning will hit me twice. Yeah. So now you've got to think that probably the operations that do this are probably getting the big pieces of gold out.
Right.
Yeah. So what you're getting is basically what they call sluice material. So the company I went with was called Sluice Boys of Georgia.
There we go.
So you can go online, and they have a big operation where they are mining this creek in Georgia.
Yeah.
And then you can buy bags of dirt.
All right.
That has a guaranteed amount of gold in it.
Okay.
So I did.
Yeah.
Just so I could learn what gold looked like.
I see. So this is kind of practice pile of dirt. So you get some practice looking at gold. And what you got here in this little vial?
Oh, yeah. So we have found some gold.
Let's see. So I didn't bring my glasses.
A magnifying glass?
What? Oh, yeah, okay. Maybe if I hold it at arm's length, I can see it. There it is.
So you were talking about learning.
Are those like, I haven't looked, I can't see it up close. Are these small flakes?
Those are little flakes. You get out in the sun, you can really tell.
And so has this helped you identify gold?
Well, that was the thing. Like when you first, like I've seen a ton of mica, but when I first saw gold from this bag, you can tell the difference immediately.
It's the real deal.
Yeah, it's the real deal because it looks that much different and it doesn't wash out of the pan.
Yeah, that's what, down near Charlotte, there is I think it's a state park where it's the site, one of the sites of the big gold rush. The mine is there. You can go in. Yeah, that's right. You can go into the mine.
Yep.
We went. Have you been here before? So we did. We went into the mine. You can see where they were going, where they mined, and what the operation looked like.
Yep.
And you can see the creek where they found one of the, I think the biggest nugget in North Carolina. They found it there. And then they have a long trough of, for sluicing. They give you a pan, and they've got this pile of pay dirt.
Right.
And they get
That's what it's called, pay dirt. That's what you buy,
Okay, they give you a shovel full. They stick it in your pan, and you just, you just wash out.
Yeah.
And I think what they said was that 1 out of 6 people will find some gold.
Huh.
It's pretty small.
Right.
There were 6 of us, and 1 of us found it.
Huh.
And it was 1 flake.
Yeah.
It was just 1 flake.
Yep. Well, I will say in our pay dirt, because that's exactly what, if you look it up on Amazon, you look up pay dirt.
Pay dirt, okay.
So we use a spoon to scoop it out, and we pan with small quantities because it's easier to learn that way.
Okay.
Now,
have you panned this whole bag?
We've panned about half of it.
Okay.
But out of like 20 scoops, everyone has had a flake in it.
No kidding.
Except for 1 scoop.
Really?
Yeah. But so that's what you're seeing in that little jar. So Peter's looking at a little glass jar that we have that's got the flakes of gold.
We'll take a picture of this jar, but we'll also take a picture next to a soda can so you can see the scale.
Oh, that's a good idea. So you're talking about learning the lingo.
Yeah.
So this is, I think, called placer gold.
Placer gold.
So placer gold is anything that like washes off of a load and washes down in a creek.
Right.
And so that's called placer gold. And then if you find placer gold that's big enough to pick up with your fingers, that's called a picker.
Okay.
And so this stuff you have to like snuff out with the little bottle to get it out. It's flakes. I mean, it's just small. But when you pan it, you will see it immediately.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you, so the half a bag of dirt, did you keep it? Mm-hmm. Have you gone back and repanned it?
That's what we're doing. Everything that we pan into another pan so we can keep it. And then we dry that out and repan it again.
To see if you find any more.
Yep.
Because ideally, you shouldn't find any more. You should have gotten it all.
Should have gotten it all.
All right.
But
I imagine that's difficult, especially as small as some of these pieces are.
It is. So I've learned you have to do it in bright sunlight.
Okay.
That helps. And it is backbreaking. I mean, because you're
back-breaking.
Well, so you're down. I mean, we probably could put it up on a table, but if you were doing this in a creek,
oh yeah, you'd be kind of sitting, kind of squatting down.
Yeah, down in the
creek.
You've
seen pictures of the gold rush.
Yeah,
guys and gals with their pans squatting down, just doing their thing.
In a creek. Yeah. So I also found out there's a couple places in North Carolina that you can legally do this.
Yeah.
So the Uwharrie National Forest,
right?
You can pan anywhere in there for gold. Yeah. And there's also some place in Morganton.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know which river it's on, the Catawba maybe.
Okay.
Where they have a state park with an area where you can pan.
Oh.
You can even use a sluice box, a small one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you been yet?
No.
When are we going?
I don't know. We've got to go down. My neighbor's interested too. He's ready. He's also wants to go down to Uwharrie. So Uwharrie's where they found a lot of that gold. That's down there.
Right. Yeah. There's an active, if I remember right, there's an active mine down south. It's more of I think it's a pit mine, a strip mine, right south of Uwharrie, where you can go on and get some pay dirt.
Yeah.
And pan it yourself.
Yeah. So that is why I bought dirt. Now I don't know that I'll do it again, but it helped me.
It was a good practice.
It helped me figure out how to, because you can go online and there's a million videos on how to pan gold, and all kinds of techniques. But this, knowing that you have gold in your dirt, really helps.
Yeah, right. You kind of know you're doing it right.
You know you're looking for it.
So are you going to put this gold back into your pay dirt and pan it again?
No, that's going in the bank. Yeah. All 17 or 18 cents of that.
All right. Well, don't spend it all in one spot.
Don't break the vial.
That's right. Snuff it out. I just snuffed out your gold.
Yeah. So, but I can't imagine like sitting in a creek, especially a cold creek, doing this for hours and hours.
Oh, as long as there's daylight, you're doing it.
Yeah. And then I will say, the first time I saw gold in the pan, it's quite a rush.
Is that right?
Yeah. Oh, gold rush. I didn't mean to do that.
There we go.
So I can see where people would get really wrapped into this.
Well, I mean, I will admit that I have dreamt of that. I mean, I watched those shows too, and I always wondered, man, what would that be like? I watched this one show. It was a reality show. It was a race in Alaska. And one of the guys who's a native of Alaska, whenever they were, part of it's, they were backpacking, others they were rafting, but on this particular leg of the race they were backpacking, and they had some time. And he says, man, when I'm out here I'm always bringing a pan. And he got out there, and it was in the middle of nowhere, Alaska, right? He got out his pan and he panned some and found gold right on the spot. Now again, made for TV, good TV, but kind of makes you wonder.
It does.
What's out there? I've always wondered about the Linville Gorge.
Oh yeah.
I wonder what's down in that Linville River.
So that's kind of what I did, not to the extent of the gorge, but I did go. I've got outside right now from an undisclosed location. I know where there's this deep gully that's been cut by this drainage system. I mean, it is 30 or 40 feet down to the bottom of it.
All right.
And so I walked the gully until I knew I was on. I was not on anybody's property.
Yeah.
And I got out of the bottom of that creek half a gallon of sand.
Okay.
And so I've panned some of that. I hadn't found any gold in it, but that's deep enough down that I was thinking if there was any loads of gold, it could have washed down. Yeah.
Now, a lot of this, since gold is so dense, it really finds its way down into the sand.
Yeah.
How deep do you dig?
I just scooped up right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think you need to dig deeper?
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. And that's what I do with the bag, too. I have, shaken the bag that I bought to see if the gold would kind of sift down to the bottom of the bag, too.
Yeah, I would think you need to dig down deep.
Yeah.
And get into some gravel.
Yeah. Well, the thing I've noticed with this dirt is that the gold usually comes out of this black sand.
Okay.
Like you wash off all the kind of beige and pale sand and rocks.
Right.
And there's this black sand that you end up with like a little band of it. And that's usually where the gold comes out of. I don't know what the difference is. But.
So if you can find the black sand, you're in the gold.
You're in the gold. So evidently this is a big thing in North Carolina, according to that store. Now, they were trying to sell me a pan,
that's right. And it worked.
I totally went for it. But just based on the amount of equipment they had in there,
it
was just, and they had like demo sluices going, like with water running through them inside
Yeah.
the store. I mean, it was not a halfway operation.
I've lived here for 30 years. You've lived here all your life. Have you ever been out hiking and see someone panning for gold?
Never. I've never seen anybody in the wild panning for gold.
I've never seen it either.
Yep. But I've always.
I knew one guy on one of my previous jobs. I knew a guy who would pan in Uwharrie. He prospected in Uwharrie.
Did he find anything?
Yeah, he would find stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, Uwharrie, if you've ever hiked.
But I mean, we're talking. I imagine it's these little
flakes.
flakes.
You got to get a lot of that.
Yeah, sure.
That's what's so backbreaking. You're finding those little flakes, and you got to find a lot of them.
Yeah.
So a buddy of mine and I, we backpacked in Uwharrie. I backpacked in there a couple times over the years, but that place looks like gold. I mean, it's very rocky. It's not like when you're on the AT.
Right.
I mean, there's just like broken rock everywhere. And so it feels like you're in gold country.
There's going to be gold anywhere. It's going to be here.
And also, I'm always feeling like I'm going to find some kind of like arrowheads or stuff like that, because there's a lot of Native American in there, and so it just looks like, you got like a lot of flint looking like kind of rocks, and so I'm always looking. I don't think you can carry out, if you find arrowheads, I don't think you're supposed to carry those out.
I wouldn't think you were supposed to touch those.
You can mine. You can do the prospecting, but you can't carry out anything else.
I wouldn't think so.
You ever found arrowheads?
I've never have.
Yeah, I found a couple.
I've been to Morrow Mountain State Park, and that is another state park over in that area of Uwharrie. Have you heard of it? Mm-hmm. It's got the rock. It has that special rock formation that is most useful for making arrowheads, because it shears off at it's very shallow angles, and they have found arrowheads up in the Northeast made of the rock from Morrow Mountain.
Really?
And it's believed that the Native Americans would come to Morrow Mountain, and there'd be a lot of trade going on because the rock was so conducive to good arrowheads.
Really?
That this was a trade route or a trade destination.
Yeah, it's a fascinating area if you haven't been there before. So we need to pack some Vienna sausages.
Yep.
And some some saltines and some creamy curl,
some nabs,
buns and some nabs.
Some Texas Pete.
Get the gold pans out and go down to Uwharrie.
I'll bring some jerky. I'm not above jerky. All right. Okay.
Beef jerky and pineapple, and go down to a creek.
Let's try it.
Well, it don't sound right, but you've come to the end of another That Don't Sound Right.
Hey, before we close, we want to thank again everyone for listening in on the conversation. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you were yelling at your device. We hope you were asking questions. I hope you stay curious. Maybe you go buy a gold pan. But if this is your first time and enjoyed our conversation, would you consider hitting the subscribe button on the podcast app that you're listening to? Also, would you consider rating us or leaving us a review?
And if you buy merchandise, send us a picture of it. We've been putting those up on the Instagram site.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's been fun.
Because Father's Day is right around the corner. Wait, yes, Father's Day is right around the corner. You probably have time to order this. Hey, I'm a father, and I don't mind late gifts, especially if it's That Don't Sound Right.
That Don't Sound Right. So we've had some people sending pictures of T-shirts and cups and stuff they've bought. That Don't Sound Right is a production of TDSR Podcast in conjunction with Camel City Studios. I am your co-host and sound engineer, Cecil, your other host, and web designer is Peter. And go visit his website, our website. He's done a great job. Our barista, again, is Camille. Emily is our graphic designer. Giorgio tests our merchandise. Brent is our brand ambassador. And as always, listener number one is Scott. So until next week, keep talking.
And stay curious.